Hi viewers, welcome back to KNS Biochemistry. Namaskar. In this video session, we are going to see about one of the area of bioinformatics, that is drug design. Introduction to drug design. So, I welcome you to attend this session. Come along with me. Introduction to drug design is the topic we are going to see in this session. So before entering into drug design, you must know what is a drug and what is a drug discovery, what are all the steps or development is there in drug discovery. So what is a drug? A drug is a molecule, a chemical molecule that is actually prepared or synthesized for the purpose of curing any kind of diseases. So here you can see that the drug discovery and the development steps usually normally used in the pharmaceutical industry is that first you have a disease. First identify the disease. For example, you have COVID-19 disease. So that is a new disease that has come in the society. So for that new disease, you have to discover a drug and you have to develop a drug for that disease. So identify the disease, then which particular molecule or protein is responsible for that disease, isolate that protein involved in that disease. So for every kind of disease, some molecule, some protein, some chemical component may be possible even at gene level. If it is a genetic disorder, at gene level, you will have some problem. So you have to identify and isolate that particular the component or the protein. Here, suppose if it is a protein molecule, so you have to isolate that. For that, they are saying it will take 2 to 5 years. This is a old conventional method of drug discovery and development. So even for identifying a responsible protein for a disease, it takes 2 to 5 years. You just remember. So then after that, it will take 1 to 3 years to find a drug, effective drug against that particular disease and against that protein which is causing that disease. So that also done in the laboratory. Again, it will take 2 to 5 years or 1 to 3 years. Okay. So once you have found out a effective drug for a particular protein molecule, then the next step is you have to check it in a living system. So for that, usually rabbits and mice or a rat, they are used. So you have to check it, the effectiveness of that particular drug using some animal system. So for that also it will take 2 to 3 years, even sometimes 5 years. Then after checking in that system, if the drug is effective against a particular disease, then you have to scale up that particular drug. That is, scaling up means you have to produce it in large scale, that is in industries, so pharmaceutical industries. So once a drug is confirmed its effectiveness, the drug should be prepared in large scale up, large quantities in the pharmaceutical labs. So you are going to get tablets form, that is formation of the drug in the form of tablet or injection, any one form. So once the drug is formed, that drug should be filed in IND. That is an organization which is the responsible for giving permission for the drug to enter into the market. So you have to file your drug, the name of the drug, the composition of the drug to IND. So once IND is approved, so this drug is okay, it is working in animal system properly, no problem. So this drug can be permitted for human clinical trials. Human clinical trials. So for human clinical trials, same drug, it has been checked in animal system, here in rats or rabbit. But after getting approval from IND, then only you have to go for human clinical trials for this particular drug against that particular disease. So here the time specified is 2 to 10 years. You see that sometimes it will take 10 years. So suppose if the maximum period is 10 years, only after 10 years it is confirmed in the human system. So now the drug is ready to give to the human system. Now once this human clinical trial is successfully done, you have to go for FDA approval. So you have to file the name of that tablet in with the FDA. That is that is you have to register with NDA. Okay, the drug authority. So that the drug authority has to give FDA approval. That is universal approval, FDA approval. So once you have filed, immediately you see NDA people will not approve you within 1 month or 2 months. Sometimes they will keep it. They will not give approval immediately. Sometimes so the time duration for getting approval itself, sometimes it will take 2 to 3 years. So once you get the FDA approval for that particular drug, then only that drug will be that packed like this, and it will be coming to the market for sales. Then only people can take the drug. So this is the steps involved in drug discovery and further development of the drug into effective drug that should be given to the human. So for all these things to take place, you see that it will take several years. So now we are in COVID-19 pandemic situation. If it is taking 10 years of time for getting a drug for coronavirus, so you see that 10 years is a too long period. But today it is not the case. This is the conventional method what we used in the last century. Okay, in the last century only the drug comes after FDA approval. Maximum 15 years, 20 years it will take. But today that is not the case. Today you see that we are having a computer, all that things are there. So that is why the time period can be reduced. So now we are coming to drug design. How to design a drug for a particular disease. So drug design is the approach of finding drugs by designing it based on their biological targets. The biological target is a target disease cell. Typically, a drug target is a key molecule involved in a particular metabolic or signaling pathway that is specific to a disease condition or pathological condition or to the infectivity or survival of a microbial pathogen. So a drug is designed against a metabolic disorder or against a problem in the signaling pathway or against a particular disease caused by some virus or some bacteria. So that should be the target. It's a biological target. So for that, you have to design a drug. Some approaches attempt, there are some approaches to design a drug. Attempt to stop the functioning of the pathway in the diseased state by causing a key molecule to stop functioning. So drugs may be designed that bind to the active region and inhibit this key molecule. So some key molecule may be responsible for the diseased condition. So you have to stop that key molecule, inhibit that key molecule, then the disease will be cured. So who is going to stop that key molecule, inhibit that key molecule? A drug. You are going to design a drug. However, these drugs would also have to be designed in such a way as not to affect any other important biomolecules that may be similar in appearance to the key molecule. So you are designing a drug in such a way that the drug has to attack only the key molecule which is responsible for the disease. Instead of that, your drug is by mistake, it is attacking along with the key molecule other biomolecules, natural biomolecules. They are closely similar to this key molecule. Then what will happen? You will get side effects. It will affect other molecules, means other biomolecules are also affected by your drug. Then there is no use of drug. The drug will give you side effects. So sequence homologies are often used to identify such risks. So before designing a drug, you have to find out what is a key molecule for a disease. Is there any molecule which is very close to, it is having homology, resemblance with your key molecule. So you have to keep all these things in mind before designing a drug. Other approaches may be to enhance the normal pathway by promoting specific molecules in the normal pathways that may have been affected in the diseased state. So you have to see the normal pathway, then promote see that the activities of that components in the normal pathway. So for that you have to design a drug. The structure of the drug molecule, that is the drug what you are going to design, that can specifically interact with the biomolecules, that can be modeled using computational tools nowadays. Computational tools means using computer tools. These tools can allow a drug molecule to be constructed within the biomolecule using knowledge of its structure and the nature of its active site. Construction of the drug molecule can be made inside, out, or outside in, depending on whether the core or the R groups means side groups are chosen first. However, many of these approaches are plagued by the practical problems of chemical synthesis. But chemical synthesis means you are synthesizing a drug in the laboratory with chemical synthesis. So when you are designing a drug, what are all the steps or the process of drug designing should be followed? So in the drug discovery process, it involves the identification of the lead structure or lead compound. It is called the lead compound, lead molecule or lead structure. Your identification of the lead structure followed by the synthesis of its analogs, the analog of that lead molecule. Analog means it is similar to that lead compound, resembling the lead compound. They are screening to get candidate molecules for drug development. In the traditional drug discovery process, that is the old method, what we are using from the last century. So in that traditional method, what are all the steps involved in the processing of a particular drug design? First step, first identification of the suitable drug target. The target means which is the area disease to be target. You have to identify that target, which may be some biomolecules, mainly DNA molecules. Suppose if it is a genetical disorder, DNA, RNA, and proteins. Proteins means such as receptor proteins present in the cell membrane, transporter proteins present in the cell membrane, sometimes enzymes if it is a metabolic disorder, and ion channels present in the cell membrane. These are all the suitable targets for a drug. So then next step is validation of such targets. You have to validate the targets. Once you have identified the target, next validate the target. It is necessary to exhibit a sufficient level of confidence and to know their pharmacological relevance to the disease under investigation. This can be performed from very basic level such as cellular level, molecular levels to whole organism level. So you have to validate the target. The third step, identification of effective compounds such as inhibitor compounds or modulator compounds or antagonist for such target. Antagonist, they are working against the target. They are called antagonist. They are called lead identification molecule or lead molecule, where the design and development of a suitable assay is done to monitor the effectiveness of the drug on the target under study. Then fourth step is compounds showing dose-dependent target modulation in terms of a certain degree of confidence are processed further as lead compounds. So you have to see the dose dependency of the target. How much dose you have to give this lead compound. Because if you give less dose, that lead compound will not effectively attacking that target, then the disease will not be cured. So the dose dependent targeting is very, very important. Then next step is subsequently the experiments are performed on the animal models. Next only you are coming to the animal model. I have shown in the previous slide. So next you have to perform the efficiency of that particular lead compound on the animal models in the laboratories, and the positive results are then optimized in terms of potency and selectivity. So if you get positive good result on that drug in that animal model, then you have to optimize all the conditions for the effective functioning of potentiality of that drug in the animal system. The next step is assessing of the physicochemical properties, then pharmacokinetic properties and safety features. Safety, how to store that drug, all those are safety features, are also assessed before they become candidates for the drug development. So before going to manufacture a large scale drug, you have to assess all these parameters for the drug. Then only you will be taking that drug to the pharmaceutical industry, where it will be produced in large quantities. So the system what you have seen, the drug designing process is a conventional old method, traditional method. But today that method is not suitable, because you see that if we are in a pandemic situation, COVID-19, see that you cannot wait for 10 years or 15 years to get a drug for coronavirus. You have to do it immediately within 1 year or 2 years. So for that, people are nowadays going and getting the assistance of computers. So now we are entering into a new area where drug design is done not by conventional traditional method what we have seen so far. So instead of that, we are going for computer assisted drug design. So this is the area of interest today. So today it's a very important area, very significant area in this COVID-19 pandemic situation. So computer assisted drug design uses computational chemistry to discover, enhance or study drugs and related biological active molecules. Methods used can include simple molecular modeling using molecular mechanics, molecular dynamics, semi-empirical quantum chemistry methods, ab initio quantum chemistry methods, and density functional theory method. All these methods are used in computer-aided drug design. So we will see all the methods later on. The purpose is to reduce the number of targets for a good drug that have to be subjected to expensive and time-consuming synthesis and trialing. Because you see that time-consuming synthesis is very high in the previous old conventional traditional method, but here time consumption is less. That is the advantage of computer-assisted drug design. So in recent years, we have seen an explosion in the amount of biological information that is available on net. Bioinformatics databases are available today. Various databases are doubling in size every 15 months, and we now have the complete genome sequences of more than 100 organisms available on the biological databases online now. It appears that the ability to generate vast quantities of data has surpassed the ability to use this data meaningfully. The pharmaceutical industry has embraced genomics as a source of drug targets. It also recognizes that the field of bioinformatics is crucial for validating these potential drug targets and for determining which ones are the most suitable for entering the drug development system. So now this area is a very important area, computer assisted drug design. So when we want to develop broad spectrum drugs that are effective against a wide range of pathogenic organisms, while at other times we want to develop narrow spectrum drugs. Narrow spectrum drugs, they have to act very specifically. For example, a specific drug which acting on only coronavirus, that is narrow spectrum drugs that are highly specific to a particular organism. Comparative genomics. Comparative genomics is a very important area, and you see that you can watch a session also in my YouTube channel, Comparative Genomics, I have uploaded. So this comparative genomics helps to find protein families that are widely taxonomically dispersed and those that are unique to a particular organism. Clustering algorithms. Algorithm is so that you know that in computer, see that algorithm is stepwise instructions. So the algorithms are used to organize this expression data into different biologically relevant clusters. We can then compare the expression profiles from the diseased and healthy cells to help us understand the role our gene or the protein plays in a disease process. All of these computational tools can help to compose a detailed picture about the protein family, its involvement in a disease process, and its potential as a possible drug target. So following on from the genomics, that is, genomics is going to play a very important role. Proteomics, genomics going to play a very important role in computer assisted drug design. So genomics explosion and the huge increase in the number of potential drug targets, there has been a move from the classical approach, that is our traditional approach of drug discovery, to a non-linear and high throughput approach, that is computer aided approach. The field of bioinformatics is going to help you for this computer assisted drug design. So this bioinformatics has become a major part of the drug discovery area that is going to help you, playing a very important key role for validating the drug targets. By integrating data from many interrelated yet heterogeneous resources, bioinformatics can help you by giving all the data for identifying the biological process and everything, and it will help you to improve a drug. That is, you design a drug. For that, bioinformatics is going to help you a lot. So now, after taking technology here in this 21st century, technology is going to play a very important impact on this drug discovery process. The drug discovery process, technology is going to play a very important role. And you see that after taking technology, now you see the same drug discovery and development, how it is going to happen. Compare this with conventional old traditional method. So here, identifying a disease, okay, identify the disease, then isolate the protein responsible for that, and you are going to study the genomics of that protein, proteomics of that protein, bioform that protein, potentially producing many more targets and personalized targets. That can be done using computer. Then combinatorial chemistry can be done using softwares, or chemistry combinatorial study can be done using bioinformatics software, rapidly producing vast numbers of compounds produced artificially in the computer. Then molecular modeling is done for that particular chemical molecule. So for that, computer graphics and models are going to help improve the activity of the drug. And you see that this high throughput screening is used for screening up to 1 million compounds a day for activity against a particular target protein. And you see that they are all screened very easily because they are all available in the database, in the bioinformatics database already. So virtual screening is very, very easy. It will take even very few days. Then after virtual screening, you are going to do it using a computer to predict the activity of this drug in the computer itself. Then molecular modeling, molecular docking, that you are going to see in this unit later on. So molecular modeling is done. So in vitro and in silico models are done. In silico means using bioinformatics tools, you are going to identify the activity of the drug. Tissue and computer models begin to replace animal testing. So by all these things, you are finding a drug, and the drug can be given to preclinical test. Preclinical test before giving to the human, it is given to the animal system. Then after that, FDA approval, then human clinic, then finally the drug comes to the market. Active drug will come to the market. Here you see that from identifying the disease coming to the preclinical testing, the time needed is very, very less when you compare with the traditional method. So time consumption is very, very reduced here between identifying the disease and preclinical testing. So that is the advantage of using technology for drug discovery and development. So in the old traditional method, if you go for discovering a drug for corona, it will take 20 or 25 years. By the time most of the people would have died. They would have died. Okay, so today is a technology based drug discovery is very, very important, significant. That is area of interest today. So what is a drug design? Now drug design is based on bioinformatics tools nowadays. So the processes of designing a new drug using bioinformatics tools have opened a new area of research nowadays. However, computational techniques assist one in searching drug target and in designing a drug in silico. In silico means using computer bioinformatics tools. So bioinformatic tools, using that, if you are designing a drug, it is called in silico study. But it takes long time, in the sense when you compare with conventional method, it is giving you less time only comparing to old method. So drug design based on bioinformatic tools is nowadays a very important area. So the process of designing a new drug using bioinformatic tools have opened a new era of research. So these computational techniques assist one in searching drug target and designing drug in silico. So what are all the steps involved here? In order to design a new drug, what are all the steps you have to follow in this bioinformatics based drug design? So in old conventional method, you have a process. Here it is bioinformatics tools based. So what are all the steps involved? First step, identify target disease. You have to first identify the disease. One needs to know all about the disease and existing or traditional remedies. It also important to look at very smaller afflictions and their known treatments. Target identification alone is not sufficient in order to achieve a successful treatment of the disease. A real drug needs to be developed. So this drug must influence the target protein in such a way that it does not interfere with the normal metabolism. So one way to achieve this is to block activity of the protein with a small molecule. So bioinformatic methods have been developed to virtually screen the target for compounds that bind and inhibit the protein. Another possibility is to find other proteins that regulate the activity of the target by binding. So here you see that first you are identifying the target disease. The next step is study interesting compound, that is called lead compound. One needs to identify and study the lead compounds that have some activity against a disease. These may be only marginally useful and may have severe side effects. These compounds provide a starting point for refinement of the chemical structure. The third step is detect the molecular basis for disease. If it is known that a drug must bind to a particular spot on a particular protein or a nucleotide, then a drug can be tailor-made to bind at that site. This is often modeled computationally using any of the several different techniques. So here you see that you are going to detect the molecular basis of that disease. After that only you will go computer-oriented drug design. Detect the molecular basis for disease. That is, if you are getting a disease in the system, in the animal system or human system, definitely it may be because of some microbial infection or viral infection. The third type of disease comes because of some problem in the molecular level of the cell, molecular basis. So if a disease is molecular related disease, then you have to first detect what is the problem, the molecular basis for that particular disease. So you have to identify that, detect that problem first. Then only you can design a drug accordingly. If it is known that a drug must bind to a particular spot, that is the target, on a particular protein or a nucleotide, then a drug can be tailor-made to bind at that particular site. So first you have to find out the target protein or the target nucleic acid or nucleotide. Then only you can design a drug. That is, you are going to design it. It is a tailor-made. You are making a design of that particular drug. Then that designed drug bind at that particular site, a target site. This is often modeled. How to model? That is tailor-made that drug. It is modeled computationally. That is using computer tools, using any of several different techniques. Traditionally, that is in the conventional method, what we have seen, the primary way of determining what compounds would be tested computationally was provided by the researchers. That is understanding of molecular interactions of that particular lead compound. A second method is the brute force testing of large numbers of compounds from a database of available structures. So first you have to identify the lead compound. Suppose if you are not able to identify, you take large number of compounds. They are closely related to that particular disease. Then compare them database with available database structure. Then from that you can find out any one structure or the compound of interest that is responsible for the disease making. So that you have to deduct that molecular basis and the compound responsible for that molecular problem. The next step is rational drug design techniques. So how to design the drug? For that you have some techniques. These techniques attempt to reproduce the researchers' understanding of how to choose likely compounds, that is resembling compounds, similar compounds, built into a software package that is capable of modeling a very large number of compounds in an automated way. So everything is done in a software package. It is a software package. It is once if you give the data, automatically it will do. It's automated method. Many different algorithms have been used for this type of testing, many of which were adopted from artificial intelligence applications, AI, artificial intelligence, AI. So artificial intelligence, that is advanced version of which is that computer applications, artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence, that software is utilized here to design a drug. So the help of the AI is also used here for designing a drug. The complexity of biological systems makes it very difficult to determine the structures of large biomolecules. Ideally, experimentally determined structure is used. So experimentally means using X-ray crystallography method or using nuclear magnetic resonance NMR method. You can determine the structure of any compound. But biomolecules are very difficult to crystallize. But some of the biomolecules, they cannot be easily designed, studied, and they cannot be easily crystallized. So for that kind of molecules, you can use this bioinformatic designing method. The next step is refinement of compounds. That is the compound, what you are going to identify, the refinement of that compound. Once you got a number of lead compounds, lead molecules, they are the molecule responsible for disease. That lead compounds have been found, computational and laboratory techniques have been very successful in refining the molecular structures of these lead compounds to give a greater drug activity and fewer side effects. So we have computational techniques, laboratory techniques, both are there. So using any one of these techniques, you can refine the molecular structure of those lead compounds, so that they must have some greater drug activity, that is maximum drug efficiency, but fewer side effects. This is our aim. This is done both in the laboratory and computationally. That is using computer technology. Computationally, by examining the molecular structures of these lead compounds to determine which aspects are responsible for both this activity, maximum activity, and side effects. So you are going to refine the compounds. Then next step is quantitative structure activity relationship. Quantitative structure activity relationship, that is QSAR. This is QSAR is also very, very important step. So this QSAR done using computational technique. This computational technique should be used to detect the functional group in your lead compound in order to refine your drug. So your lead compound is there, and it may be a small compound or a big molecule, but in that molecule, all the portions of the drug molecule is not going to act as drug. Only one particular portion. That portion has to be identified. It has to be detected. So that is the functional group of that compound, lead compound. So if you identify that functional group, and you have to refine that functional group so that it will become a good drug. This can be done using this method, that is quantitative structure activity relationship identification, QSAR. So it can be done using QSAR, that consists of computing every possible number that can describe a molecule, then doing an enormous curve fit to find out which aspects of the molecule correlate well with the drug activity or side effect severity. So this QSAR is going to give all the details about the severity of side effects or the how good your drug is active. This information can then be used to suggest new chemical modifications for the synthesis and the testing of your drug. The next step is solubility of the molecule. That is the drug what you are going to design should be soluble one in water. Then only you see that giving the drug to the human beings is becomes very easy, because so the next step is solubility of molecule. One need to check whether the target molecule is water soluble or readily soluble in fatty tissue. Will affect what part of the body it becomes concentrated in. The ability to get a drug to the correct part of the body is an important factor in its potency. Ideally, there is a continual exchange of information between the researchers doing this QSAR studies, synthesis and testing of the drug molecule. These techniques are frequently used and often very useful, since they do not rely on knowing the very important area. See, once a drug has been shown to be effective by an initial assay technique, much more testing must be done before it can be given to human patients. That is, you are testing a drug. Already we have seen in the designing of drug and development of drug, see that so if you are testing the effectiveness of a drug using some assay techniques, first you are doing it in an animal system, that is a preclinical assay. After that you have to come for human clinical assay. So much more testing must be done before it can be given to a human patient. Animal testing is the primary type of testing at this stage, because first you are going to check any drug, the effectiveness of the drug, efficacy of the drug in the animal system first. You are not going to check it directly in human patients. First you have to check it in animal system. For example, even now in this COVID-19 pandemic situation, see, so many people are working on vaccine production for coronavirus. See that here and there they have identified some vaccines, but still they are all under animal testing level only. First they are checking in the animal system. After that only it will come to the human clinical trial. So animal testing is the primary type of testing at this stage. Eventually the compounds which are deemed suitable at this stage are sent on to clinical trials. After that only it is sent on to the clinical trials. In the clinical trials only additional side effects may be found, or what is the suitable dosage for human beings. All these things are decided only in that clinical trials, human clinical trials. So that is called drug testing. So the drug is available, but you have to test it properly. That is a proper procedure is there. Already we have seen in the conventional method. Drug testing is done first on animal system, then coming to the human clinical system. So that is the procedure should be followed for every drug. Even in the case of COVID-19, that is a vaccine also, the same procedure is now it is being followed. So the important steps in drug design. So here you see that the drug design is done based on bioinformatic tools. So here based on the bioinformatic tools, you are going to design the drug. See that chemical modification of known drugs. So you have to modify the drugs if the drug is having some problem. So that is called chemical modification. Drug improvement is done by chemical modification methods. For example, penicillin G was the first antibiotic in penicillin group, but after sometimes penicillin G became resistant, microbial resistant happened. So Because of that, you see that the penicillin structure should be modified, chemical modification. So from penicillin G, they modified the structure of penicillin G, then a new compound was derived, methicillin. From methicillin, again morphine came. From morphine, naloropin came. So these are all the modifications of penicillin G. Then receptor-based drug design. This is two types of approaches are there. Two types of approaches are there in computer, that is bioinformatic tool-based drug designing. Two approaches are there. First one is a receptor-based drug design approach. Second one is a ligand-based drug design approach. So what is this receptor-based drug design? Receptor-based drug design, in this approach, receptor is the target. Usually the target is a receptor that may be a protein. Then the drug molecule, that is the lead compound, or the drug molecule what you have identified, designed. The drug molecule binds to this receptor to cause some biological effects. It is also called like lock and key system. So you have studied in enzymes. I think in enzymology you are studying. You see that in enzymes, enzyme binds with the receptor, that is substrate, so that the substrate enzyme complex is formed like a lock and key system. Same thing is applied here also in receptor based drug design. Structure determination of the receptor is important here in receptor based drug design. The another approach is ligand based drug design. Search a lead compound, that is your lead compound, or active ligand, that is called ligand is lead compound. First search for the lead compound for a particular disease. Then the structure of that ligand, that lead compound, guide you for designing a drug. That is, the drug design process is based on the structure of the ligand. So this is the ligand based drug design approach.
Friends, in this video session I explained you about drug design, the methods used in development of the drug, the conventional traditional method, as well as the latest technology used method of drug designing, and its advantages, all these things. So I hope it will be useful to you. So I will be coming with some other session with some other topic. Until then, it's bye from KNS Biochemistry. Thank you very much for watching this session. Thank you one and all. Namaskar.